What's up, everybody? Hopefully you can hear me out here. It's a little bit windy and there's a few cars going by every now and again, but give you a little update on where I'm at in my Capstone project. After discussing with Coach Jay a few weeks ago, I decided to drop one of my research questions, the one focusing on the methods of effective powerlifting coaches. There's just a little too much ambiguity surrounding kind of what that phrasing means, and I didn't think it was actually going to be helpful in the long run or contribute anything to the research, so I decided to cut that out and instead just focus on the coach-athlete relationship in remote powerlifting coaching, specifically focusing on the perspective of the athletes. So my current working title after making that decision is assessment of the coach-athlete relationship from the direct and meta perspectives of remotely coached powerlifting athletes. And essentially the purpose of my research will be to assess the coach-athlete relationship for remotely coached powerlifting athletes from focusing on the perspective of the athletes, both from a direct perspective, so how they view it, and then the meta perspective is how they believe the coaches view their relationship. Essentially, my goal is to expand on what we currently know about the coach-athlete relationship into a new area that has not yet been researched. So there has been some research using the specific tool that I'm going to use into other aspects, but not yet into remotely coached athletes. So again, a little rough here, but my new research question is going to be, what is the nature of the coach-athlete relationship from the perspective of remotely coached powerlifting athletes? To highlight why this subject is important, remote coaching has really grown, especially in strength and fitness related sports. And I think, as many of you might have noticed, it's become a little bit more useful in a broad sports perspective, considering pandemic situation and everything like that. But specifically within powerlifting, too many coaches are putting focus and emphasis on the programming side of coaching. And while that is important, a decent amount of research, and both scientific and anecdotal, indicates that the coach-athlete relationship is associated with strong positive outcomes in athletics. So optimizing that relationship is key. And I think powerlifting coaching is one, specifically remote coaching is one area that could use a little bit of optimization in that area. In powerlifting, coaches are ideally trying to get their athletes as strong as possible. So focusing on all aspects of coaching and doing it your best in all of those is important for achieving that goal. And remote coaching is really different in nature than the other types of coaching, in-person coaching primarily. So there's a different dynamic in the coach-athlete relationship, and I believe that needs to be assessed within the research. Because this topic is a little bit new to me, I'm still going over a lot of the literature. I was able to find a pretty good instrument that has been used, both it's been validated in a few studies and then has been used to assess the coach-athlete relationship in a few studies. And the areas of measurement are closeness, commitment, and complementarity in the coach-athlete relationship. I have not found any research yet that uses the instrument amongst remotely coached athletes, and I really need to continue to review the literature that deals with the importance of the coach-athlete relationship, so I can provide a little bit of context for why this research is important. The instrument that I'm going to be using to conduct my survey with the athletes is called the Coach-Athlete Relationship Questionnaire. It was developed essentially to provide a questionnaire that is both comprehensive and applicable to the majority of coaches and athletes, so it can be used at all levels throughout all of sport. So for an update on where I am in my project, technically back to the literature review stage, so I'm I guess 6 months behind now. But having done this process once and being a little bit more focused in my research is going to help me get this process done a little bit faster, just revising the IRB application and continuing to review the literature, revising my paper, and all of that stuff. And obviously have not started research, so I do not have any early findings to share, unfortunately, although I do think that it's going to be relatively easy. The questionnaire is made for me and seems to be pretty good, and I don't see it taking that long. I mean, it's only 11 questions, so people should be fairly willing to do it. And then as discussed before, I do have quite a few number of research subjects that I should be able to reach fairly easily. And I do have some general thoughts about the direction the findings will go, but I am not positive. So to outline my upcoming steps, going to continue the literature review. Everything's going to be kind of done simultaneously here, so because we are getting a little close on time and things need to start really moving. So continue to review the literature, finding more use of the coach-athlete relationship questionnaire within research to kind of build on my background and literature review, and then go further back into the relationship analysis research that questionnaire was built upon, so I can kind of see where that tool stems from and why and what led to that particular tool being developed. And then I had sent everything to Dr. T for my IRB application for him to look over. Had not submitted it yet. Now, obviously, with everything changing, I'm going to have to revise that. Again, shouldn't take that long with having done it before, and my research project is a little more streamlined, a little more simple now. And then revising and editing previous writing. So we wrote 2 chapters over the summer. Now, the majority of that, I would say, because my primary focus was on the effective methods of coaching, because my focus was there, it is mostly not applicable to what I am doing now, so going to be spending a fairly significant amount of time going over that, finding what I can use, finding what I can't use, and then going from there. And then obviously the big one is data collection. And I mentioned that I'm not too worried about being able to collect data, but it is a key step in the process. So hopefully getting all of these things done, or working on all of these things simultaneously, will allow me to get data collection done faster and then be able to get that out to my research subjects. Thank you for listening. Sorry I couldn't be there. Hope you are all doing well in your process, and good luck.